This week's champion trends feature Morgana, Vi, Lulu, Kassadin, LeBlanc, and Kha'zix. I'm Lindsay with Zam, and this is LolKing's League Trends. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. This week, the champions with the largest increase in pick rates are headed up by Morgana, with Wukong, Lee Sin, Nidalee, and Caitlyn rounding out our list. This last Super Week in LCS, Morgana has become extremely popular, showing herself as the most prioritized support for multiple LCS teams. She was even first picked over Thresh and Leona. Support Morgana is on the rise for multiple reasons. First, Spell Thief Edge has become a more viable supporting item for champions like Morgana. She could easily proc the passive gold per 10 seconds with Tormented Soil, which means easy money. Mo money, mo problems? No. Morgana's Black Shield is really effective against champions that are strong in the current meta, and it's the second reason she's so incredibly popular at the moment. She can deny crowd control from Vi, Leona, and even the mayor of Hook City, Thresh. In lane, Morgana has the ability to keep her carry safe from ganks and CC, while in team fights she can peel for them with her ultimate Soul Shackle. Feel the pain, people. Feel it. Champs with the largest decrease in pick rates this week have Kha'Zix up first, while Gragas, Leona, Vi, and Dr. Mundo trail behind. With other junglers gaining more popularity, Vi has become more of a specialized pick. Elise, Lee Sin, and Kha'Zix are ruling the jungle along with weaker picks like Wukong and Olaf. Vi is actually completely balanced in the current meta. Her pre-level 6 is not as strong as some of the other junglers out there, which means that aggressive champs like Lee Sin and Elise are good counters because they can capitalize on Vi's early game. What Vi is really good at is reaching the backline with her ultimate, Assault and Battery. If you're sending Vi into the fray, it's always a good idea to have a dive buddy that will go with Vi, or she could be focused down and killed easily. Vi also has a really easy time clearing the jungle, including objectives like Dragon and Baron, due to her Denting Blows. Denting Blows makes every third auto attack from Vi do percentage health damage and provides target armor reduction. While she shows up on the decreasing picks list, this jungler is still a Vi-able champion. Get it? 'Cause Vi. Increases in win rates this week is led by Skarner, with Maokai, Kennen, Xerath, and Lulu rounding out the list. Pleased to meet you! Lulu is arguably the most contested mid laner right now in competitive play. She has incredible poke and offers tons of utility. Lulu mid brings a lot to a team. With a kit full of poke and wave clear, she has shown in Super Week that if there's a Lulu on your team, you have a strong asset. She could also roam better than most mid laners due to her movement speed steroid. Lulu can also win nearly almost any 2v2 situation because of her AoE damage from Glitter Lance, her polymorph ability, and her shield to keep her alive. After Lulu hits 6, she's nearly impossible to kill even with ganks because of the massive burst of HP she receives from her ultimate, Wild Growth. Scaling into the late game, Lulu becomes more utility mid laner than a damage one. This allows the team to run a full damage jungler or top laner like Pantheon or Kha'Zix. With an AP Lulu, her ultimate will grant so much health it'll make a tank out of anyone. Up we go! Champions with the largest decrease in win rates for this past week are headed up by Kassadin, with Kha'Zix, Quinn, Karthus, and Vladimir following behind. Kassadin has been a must-ban in both competitive and solo queue for months and months. He got nerfed a bit in the last patch, which significantly reduced his overall damage on his Q, Null Sphere, and his E, Force Pulse. It also reduced the duration of the silence on Null Sphere. In last week's LCS, he was left wide open twice in the EU LCS. However, both of the teams that first picked Kassadin were able to carry the game and win, mostly because the patch they played on was before the nerf. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pond, the NA LCS played on the patch with the nerfs in place. Kassadin was left open in multiple games, and most of the games he was even left unpicked. This is telling of how much the nerf has impacted Kassadin. In day 1 of the NA LCS, the only game where Kassadin was picked, he lost. If you can make it out of the laning phase, he's still a strong pick, but you should never really turn your back on this Voidwalker. Increases in ban rate this week are headed up by Lulu with over 24% increase from last week. Pantheon, LeBlanc, Wukong, and Vi finish off the list. Alongside Lulu, LeBlanc is one of the strongest and the safest mid laners in the current meta. Ganking a LeBlanc lane is nearly impossible unless she plays overly aggressive with her distortion. To successfully kill a LeBlanc, you have to play the waiting game and wait for her to make a mistake, and be there when she does. LeBlanc is a strong laner due to her early burst damage. Distortion makes it really tricky for the enemy laner to even trade back. Once she hits 6, you can expect her to try and burst you down instantly with her combo. Her killing potential skyrockets when she builds Deathfire Grasp, and it's extremely hard for a laner without much magic resist or barrier to survive. MR, damage, better choose right. LeBlanc will remain as one of the strongest mid laners in the current meta unless something drastically changes in the upcoming patches. Riot, please, do not nerf. Finally, the champions with the biggest decrease in bans this week have Kha'zix in first, with Gragas, Yasuo, Dr. Mundo, and Teemo rounding out the last top 5. Kha'zix received a bit of a nerf in the last patch. His ability, Taste Their Fear, lost 2% health damage, and the attack damage scaling on his leap got destroyed. His ultimate was changed so that his invisibility lasts longer, which allows him to get to the backline easier, as well as increases his survivability in teamfights. This change made Kha'zix not skill as well as he did before the patch. However, this doesn't mean you can dismiss him on the Rift. You can always focus on building armor pen over attack damage on Kha'zix because the base damage on his abilities are really high. He will still be able to dish out a ton of damage, and his teamfight presence is still one of the best. Kha'zix will continue to be one of the strongest junglers in the meta partially because of his passive. When a target is isolated, it makes it very hard for Kha'zix to lose that fight. So I guess the lesson for the day is don't go walking on the Rift by yourself if there's a Kha'zix around, you clever creatures. And that's it for this week's show. Please be sure to subscribe to LolKing on YouTube to keep up on these league trends. And be sure to subscribe to Cloth5 on YouTube for more great analysis. I'm Lindsay. Thanks for watching.